Hello, sportsmen. Hey, can you believe the second week in March? Wow, it's been like summer, which means that ice fishing is just about done in the southern part of the state. It's time to turn our attention towards the spring fishing opportunities, one of which is the salmon and trout fishing that's concentrated around the warm water discharges and power plants. We'll take you fishing off the nuclear plant at St. Joe. So you stay tuned. I'm Fred Trost with some fishing tips for the practical sportsman. Hey! Right. Oh, what a thrill, what a thrill!
The boat is the Captain Nichols perch party boat, usually docked in South Haven, but today it's at the municipal dock at St. Joe, down here for an experimental trip for spring trout and salmon that are in close to shore, feeding on smelt at this time of year. Now, while Captain Don is the man who started this perch party boat operation, his son Donnie is running this boat. Donnie has been down here fishing from a smaller boat, doing quite well on these salmon, and he thought that his boat, the big boat he normally only is used for perch fishing, would work for spring salmon off the Cook nuclear plant, where salmon are bunched up around the hot water discharge. Pier fishermen do well on April and brown trout and salmon here off the St. Joe breakwalls. Small boats troll with downriggers and more successfully with planer boards to catch these fish in the shallow water close to shore, where they can be pretty spooky. Now, you can see the slick water. That's the warm water discharge, 9 miles south of St. Joe. We're fishing off the Cook nuclear power plant. They take in Lake Michigan water, run it through the power plant to cool the generating equipment, and it goes back into Lake Michigan quite a bit warmer. In fact, the surface temperature where we were fishing was 12 degrees warmer than the surrounding water. Now, this attracts fish, and the crew on the Captain Nichols showed us how to wrap spawn on our single hooks.
They can go around here like this, just a few wraps, like so. Actually, you don't need that much thread. That'll do it just like that.
You don't have
on
to
the spawn
tie it or anything.
No, it'll hold itself on there.
Jack Murray from Battle Creek and Dottie started with spawn instead of night crawlers and cast towards that boiling mass of warm water which we anchored next to. Now, the basic method isn't all that complicated.
Here's the rig we're using here, right next to all this warm water discharge. Just have a sinker, a drop sinker, off a 3-way swivel, using for salmon, of all things, a worm, a night crawler. Just hooked, once through the collar. And to give it an underhand cast. Reason for I tried an overhand cast and lost the worm and the sinker on my first. Just give it a little toss. And just like fishing for, heaven forbid the comparison, suckers. Very similar. Just waiting for him to grab that worm and go. Now we got several people using spawn on the boat. I think most of the folks are using spawn. Seems a little more dignified than using worms for salmon.
Well, believe it or not, worms will work. But the fellas in this boat really did well using dead smelt for bait. In fact, they did so well that they'd caught their limit early and they were just fishing for the fun of it. So this little salmon is turned loose. On our boat, guess who caught the first one?
Okay. Hey, this one was nibbling.
What?
It better not be somebody else down here. I'm going to be upset. No, I swear it's a fish. Here we go. No?
No?
Yes, it's on. It's going right under the boat. Do we see it yet? Oh, yes. Oh, look at that. What is it?
Brown, looks like it.
Is that a brown? Yeah, looks like it.
Yeah.
Hey! Oh, what a thrill, what a thrill!
Yeah, right.
Yes!
I'll be doggone, a brown trout. This one was nibbling.
I worm.
I just had one knock the end of my worm off over there. Took a nice hit.
That is.
Yeah.
Is there? Okay.
Oh, yes.
We'll get some ice and put him in a bucket.
Oh, I'm pretty pleased with this. Yes, sirree. Well, John, should I throw it back, John? You want me to throw it back?
I think we better
It's
keep
about
this.
29 and a half inches long. I think I should throw it back, huh?
Yeah, right.
No, this is a keeper. This will be a good eating one. Look at that. You
can tell it's a trout. One little tip here, it has a white mouth on it and sharp teeth. Yeah, it swallowed the hook. They do have sharp teeth. Well, once I broke the ice, other anglers started catching these little trout and salmon. Now, they're not big right now, but I tell you, they're fun to catch.
There we go. There he is.
Oh! Wait, if you can get him in here pretty quick, because I'm just about out of tape.
Okay, here we go.
You got a net? And we've got it. Way to go, Jack. Way to go.
Looks like a little brown.
Well, I'm sorry that's not as big as mine, Jack.
Good job.
I don't think it is. That's a word for it.
Well, for most of us, these were the first open water rod and reel fish of the year. Oh, here's Captain Don Sr., who has one hooked, at least for a short time. What, you lost yours? Pop lost his.
It's all up to you.
Now, what's the technique? Look, we got one on that other boat, too. Yeah. John, just tilt up in the StarCraft over there. Look at that. Well, this is the kind of fishing you said we'd get.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for.
You know, this is your dad's and your lucky day, because I'm going to fish right between you now.
Okay. At least you got the first one.
Tell me I don't know how to pick a fishing spot.
Yeah.
No, they're still reefing on that one over there. They got a big noodle rod. This is traditionally a small boat type of fishery, but here we were with a 60-foot party boat anchored like we were fishing perch, but catching coho and brown trout. So how's that compared to a perch, Captain Donnie?
As far as eating or as far as catching?
Yeah, as far as eating.
They're about the same. This time of year with the cold water, they're real good. And as far as catching, they're a lot more fun. More action.
Yeah. Well, they still got that one over there. They're
Yeah.
reefing on that one.
Yeah, he said he got a 21-pound brown last weekend. He's fishing with smelt.
Dead smelt?
Yeah, dead smelt.
Oh, yeah.
There it is.
He told me he had his limit of browns by 7 o'clock this morning. He's just been catching and releasing them.
Now, is he using light line, do you know?
Yeah, they're using probably 6-8 pound test with a long rod.
Oh!
But,
There's plenty more out there.
oh yeah, we'll get them doing good here.
And we did. They hit consistently all morning long. Oh, why it's performing miraculously. Look at that. Oh, terrific. This was, I was reeling in. It was almost at the boat, and it came up and hit it. Oh, super. Super. My second. Look at that. Little coho. There we go. Yeah. Whoa. Whoops. Yep, came right off. You think you have any places up towards South Haven where you'll be able to do this?
Our power plant doesn't put out as much warm water as this one. If once the coho start running up there, and we get the schools just going through, I think I'm going to go out and try drifting with the schools and try this type of fishing.
Right in.
It ought to work.
Now, how will you do that, drifting with the schools? Try to locate a school on the graph?
Right.
Or what?
Just look for a warm water pocket. Like here, the water's 10 degrees warmer than our last spot over there. And once you find that, you see some bait fish or some fish on there, and just try to maneuver the boat over the school and try to drift along with them. I think once you get the fish under the boat with all the people out and all the bait, that they'll stay right there.
Yeah, they seem to run in streaks. We
Right.
get 3 or 4 together. And
That's the way it worked the last weekends I was down here. You get 3 or 4, and then it'd stop for 10, 15 minutes, and then you get back into them again.
Coming aboard here is a whitefish, one species among several that's attracted to the warm water discharge of power plants in the spring. That warmer water supports more plankton and underwater insects and minnows than the surrounding cold water, and that's the food supply for larger sport fish. Rig up a sinker off a three-way swivel, hook on a nice juicy night crawler, or maybe a gob of spawn or a spawn bag. Both of these natural baits are favorites of brown trout, coho, Chinook salmon, or a variety of other Great Lakes species that hang around this warm water in early spring. Now, the attraction isn't catching trophy-sized fish early in the season. These are known as eaters, perfect size for the grill, And coming from the cold Great Lakes waters, they taste optimum. Probably the best texture and best flavor of the year are from the fish caught right now. We caught so many that John Ford put the camera down and took his share. The power plants are a spring fishing hotspot that no practical sportsman should overlook. Now, that fishing off the power plants is not done by the Captain Nichols party boat anymore. They tried that one season, but it was a little expensive for the dockage. The conditions are kind of touch and go, but you can do that in small boats, the power plants around the perimeter of Michigan. Well, let's start our guide report here. Maddie called Captain Nichols, talked to Vicki. She said they are out catching perch in private boats, and they're good-sized ones. The browns are good off the pier. They start fishing on the Captain Nichols March 28th. We're going on a trip with them with the cameras on April 24th. It should be good. Over in the Detroit River, perch are good, and they're getting some pike. By the way, this is open water fishing. Mill Creek says fishing is slow because there's ice on the lakes, but who trusts it? Selfridge up here at Lake St. Clair, they're getting some decent catches of perch, and this is what we're going to find around the state. Captured memories on Saginaw Bay. Walleye not red hot, perch not red hot, but that ice has been iffy. Over here on the west side again, Saugatuck, Browns, and Steelhead off the piers in the rivers. Whitehall, limits of perch. Up here at Pere Marquette, suckers just starting. So we are going to have a lot of sucker runs in the next month. Pilgrims Village, Lake Mitchell, they're still out on the ice there and doing quite well. Limits of walleye on Lake Cadillac over in Oscoda, getting some browns and steelhead. Dan says Higgins Lake, they're getting perch 25 to 50 per angler. Pat and Gary's up at Indian River says perch fishing is fair, but look at the size of them, up to 14 inches. Birch Tree, well, about the same report we've had. Harry's Place, Muskong Bay, walleye have been hit and miss. We do have a lot more ice up here. Ice fishing will be up here for a while. Some limits of lake trout off Marquette. Bay Shore at, this is Escanaba area, Little Bay to Knock. Perch are hit and miss, but they are getting limits of splake. And Scott Superior Inn up in Ontonagon, getting a couple walleye. Perch fishing again slow, but look at the size of them. A perch that size, 14 inches, will make your day. 3 pounds, 12 ounces. Inland browns are so pretty with the spots and the color, so distinctive from the Great Lakes browns that a 20-incher is a trophy. You got this on the Boardman River on a night crawler, Grand Traverse County, April 24th, probably opening day.
Another lucky opening day.
No kidding. That,
Yeah.
is a brown like that on a crawler, did it come out of the water or did it stay down or what?
They fight hard. They jump and they pull and they fight like the Dickens. And I use real light tackle when I'm fishing for them, like a 4-pound test with maybe a number 10 hook, real small.
How many other browns did you get that day?
That was the only one that day.
Oh, yeah?
I got 2 other ones almost this big last year. And I do pretty good with them. I've got a secret fishing attractant that I'd like to share with you.
Well, good. We love secrets like that.
You might laugh, but it's Preparation H. I'm serious.
What is this? Fred, bend over for this one, huh?
No. It's made out of shark oil. It's 100% shark oil. And you rub that on whatever you're fishing with, and
it feels good?
the worms like it. They get a little smaller sometimes, but
No.
try it. It works.
How much are you getting to do this?
No, nothing.
Come up and say this.
Nothing.
Preparation
It
H
works.
on night crawlers.
On night crawlers or a bait instead of Dr. Juice or some of your more expensive things. Maybe you should do a scent scam on.
No, hold it.
Preparation.
Don't get me in any
okay.
more trouble here.
Okay.
Have you ever used, like, just put on your hook a suppository?
I haven't tried that.
You haven't tried that?
That might be worth it. I haven't tried that one yet. Preparation H, though, I'll tell you, it's shark oil. It's pure fish oil. Put a little dab on there, and that's all you need. John likes that one, doesn't he?
I just don't know what to say. I don't know if I've been had.
Try it. That's all I can tell you. Try it.
I'm glad you said this.
Try it when you're trout fishing, and you'll see.
I wonder what you people think. If I was out fishing on a stream and said, okay, I got a tip for you people. What you use on your worm is Preparation H. Try it. What do you think would happen to my ratings?
You might catch more fish.
Do you think that people will forget about this, all the trouble I've been in and everything else, and they'll start thinking of me as the guy who fishes with Preparation H?
Perhaps.
Boy,
I'm just trying to help you out, Fred.
yeah, you're just trying to help me out. Get me lined up with Preparation H on worms. Hey, thanks a lot.
Okay,
thanks a lot, John.
Give it a try.
I'm going to check out how you walk. Whoa, the kind of stories we hear at our Hunting and Fishing Awards banquets are wild. I mean, they're entertaining, but they're useful too. Now, all of the trophy tales you see on this show are videotaped at our annual banquets. We've already held our first Hunting Awards banquet for the season, March 4th. The second one, featuring trophies taken with shotguns, is this Saturday, March 18th at the Eagles Hall in Lansing. The fishing banquet is April 1st. If you'd like to watch us do the TV interviews for the trophy tales, give us a call for ticket information. We still have a few spots left. Oh, yes.
We'll get some ice.
The ultimate reward of catching early season coho and brown trout can be found in the 1995 Practical Sportsman Cookbook. Turn to page 7 for fast and easy grilled trout sent to us by Les Morose from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. He recommends basting the flesh side of the fillets with equal parts of lemon juice and melted butter, seasoned with a pinch of garlic powder and sweet basil. Now, you cook this on the grill, flesh side down for about 10 or 15 minutes. Now, usually you start fish skin side down, but this recipe says do it in reverse. Then baste the skin and use 2 pancake turners to flip the fillet over. Now, give the flesh side a dusting of Parmesan cheese. Close the lid of the grill for 10 to 15 minutes. If your grill doesn't have a lid, cover it with foil. The taste will be grilled, a little smoky, and absolutely excellent. That's fast and easy grilled trout, thanks to Les Morose from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. The recipes we feature on the Practical Sportsman all come from our 1995 cookbook, which has the ingredients, instructions, and a tantalizing color photo of each of the 60 recipes for the year. This recipe book comes with a membership to the Practical Sportsman Club, a new membership package we've developed for 1995. In addition, we'll be putting out 4 publications this year. In March, the Trophy Book will list by area all of the trophies from our 1994 Fishing and Hunting Awards with analytical charts and graphs. The June Source Book will be a detailed guide to addresses and phone numbers of clubs, manufacturers, people, and organizations who serve sportsmen. September is Questions of Law, and December is the Plans and Product Guide. If you'd like to become an active Practical Sportsman, write to us for details on how to get all of the Practical Sportsman publications and benefits. Our address is Box 1001, Bath, Michigan 48808. We'll send you the information right away. I think it's pretty safe to put the winter of 1995 to bed, at least as far as the winter severity index goes for white-tailed deer in most parts of the state. The weather has been so warm for the past week that this snow just can't hang on in many places, and snow accounts for 2/3 of the DNR's winter severity index. The way the DNR ranks the winter, week by week, is on snow depth. That's number 1, which if it's over 2 feet, makes it really tough for deer to move around and look for food. Snow compaction is the second factor. Now, a crust on the snow that breaks through can make walking rough for deer, even if the snow isn't all that deep. And the third factor is the wind chill index, which, by the end of March, is not a big threat. Each week starting in the fall, the DNR accumulates these numbers, adding to them each week, developing a running tally of the impact that the winter is having on the deer's health. Now, the magic numbers are 80 and 100. When the index reaches 80, deer are in trouble. If it reaches 100, the DNR expects that deer will be dying due to exposure and lack of energy. Now, checking what will be close to the final severity indexes for the year, at least we hope, the UP picked up 12 points in most locations during the blast of the past 2 weeks. Indexes now range from 50 along Lake Michigan to the low 70s in the middle part of the UP. Now, the deer literally aren't out of the woods in some areas of the UP, but they are in the lower peninsula where the snow is melting fast. It doesn't look like starvation will be a problem in the lower. Atlanta posts the highest index in the northern lower with 67. The Allegan area, with its heavy snow and Lake Michigan winds, pushed the index into the 70s, but the deer are moving out of their wintering areas in the lower peninsula. We'll keep tabs on the trouble spots next week, but all in all, fingers crossed, Michigan's deer herd has had an easy winter. Well, you've seen the last of the ice fishing shows for this season on Practical Sportsman. For the next few months, it's spring and summer activities. Among the subjects coming up are fishing walleye from small boats, trout fishing in northern streams using flies, lures, and bait, salmon and brown trout along the shores of the Great Lakes, smallmouth bass fishing. We'll be doing some shooting. You know, a great season ahead. Be sure you get outdoors this weekend if you can. It's a great place to be. I'll see you right back here next week.